Hey YouTube, Ed here with Jack of All Trades, and welcome back to another video. So very simple subject today, 4 firearms that anybody who's interested in owning guns should own. So let's just get right into the video and let's start talking about it. All right, welcome back. So the purpose of this video is to give you guys my opinion. If you're interested in owning firearms or you're a relatively new firearms owner, what are the 4 basic firearms that I think everybody should have at least one of in their collection? Be it for whatever reason you decide that you want to have guns, be it for personal protection, home defense, just plinking or shooting or just going out to the range and having some fun, or even if it's for hunting. These are the 4 firearms that I think everybody should have. So let's start off right away with number 1. This is the first gun that I think everybody should start off with and everybody should own just to get you started and get you going. A .22 rifle. I think everybody, if you are a new gun owner and you're just getting started, I think everybody should own a .22 rifle. And I personally think it should be a .22 bolt action rifle. Why do I say a .22 rifle? Well, first off, you're not going to kill yourself on the price. Second off, ammunition is relatively easy to find and it's relatively expensive, and you can afford to go to the range and drop a couple of hundred rounds shooting pop cans and plinking away and just having a good time. This is a great tool to train with, and this is the first gun I ever owned when I was coming up into the gun world. My dad bought me my first firearm or my first rifle. It was a .22 rifle. It's a great training tool and it's a great way to get you going. It teaches you basic rifle marksmanship practices. It's affordable, the ammunition's affordable, and if you do a bolt action rifle, you're not learning the spray and pray technique of shooting. You're learning how to correctly place a shot, get your rifle marksmanship techniques down. You have to manually put the shell in. It forces you to train. And as far as I'm concerned, this should be one of the first rifles that any new gun collector or any new gun owner should buy to get them started. Low recoil, low noise, just a very pleasant and a very fun gun to shoot. Gun number 2. So you've got your .22, you like going out and shooting and things like that. Now you're interested in maybe doing some hunting, or maybe you're interested in buying a firearm to protect your home, something of that effect. The next gun I would recommend that you buy is a shotgun. And it really doesn't matter what kind of shotgun you buy. This is a Benelli Nova. It's a pump action 12 gauge shotgun. It's the shotgun I use for bird hunting. You can use a shotgun for deer hunting. You can certainly use a shotgun for home defense. In fact, my home defense gun is a shotgun. It's not this one, but it is a shotgun, and it's a 12 gauge. You can do so many things with a shotgun all in one platform. You can buy slugs for it and you can effectively deer hunt. You can buy bird shot for it. You can effectively hunt birds with it or shoot trap with it. You can buy home defense rounds and you can effectively protect your home and your family with a shotgun. And they're very, very reasonable. And I always say go with a pump action. Never, ever go with an automatic or a semi-automatic on your first try. Go with a pump. A pump always works. And I tell you what, somebody breaks into your home, all they need to hear is, and that sound is very distinct. And anybody who's ever heard a gun slide close knows what that sound is. And nobody wants to be staring down the business end of a 12 gauge shotgun barrel when they're breaking into a home. So a shotgun is an excellent tool. It's an excellent choice for home protection, for all kinds of hunting, and you can take all manner of North American big game with this. The thing with a shotgun is you are fairly limited on range. So you're not making 300-yard shots with a shotgun, not a smoothbore typical standard shotgun. But this would be the second gun choice that I would recommend to anybody if they go out and buy. That way you can go out and shoot trap, you can practice with it in that respect using relatively inexpensive ammo, and you can get into all forms of hunting with a shotgun. All right, so now you've got your 22 rifle, and now you've got your shotgun, and you're really liking this gun ownership thing. What would be the next rifle or the next firearm you should go out and buy? I personally would say a handgun of some sort. Now you've got some degree of proficiency in handling a firearm when you've got your 22 and your shotgun. You've got your safety techniques down. I think at this point you'd probably, if you've been shooting at the range, you'd probably be ready to graduate up to something like a handgun. And I might suggest, just in case you don't like shooting a handgun, pick up a fairly inexpensive one, maybe like a Heritage Rough Rider or a Ruger 22 long rifle revolver. Any kind of a revolver like this is actually a really good tool to teach you and learn how to do just the basics of handgun shooting. And it's a very inexpensive way. You can pick up these Heritage Rough Riders for under $150. You can pick up the Rugers. I do believe they're called a Wrangler. You can pick the Ruger 22 rimfires up for right around $200 and $225, somewhere in there. So a 22 revolver would be an excellent choice. If you've got a little more money to burn and you've got a little more cash to burn, maybe pick up a semi-automatic 22 like the Taurus TX 22. But here again, it's a 22 rimfire. Ammunition is very easy to find. It's very easy on the pocketbook. You can afford to go out and plink away with this. The Taurus TX22 is actually a really good handgun platform. It's just a really good pistol to get started with pistol shooting. And if you're a little more adventurous and maybe you've been shooting your buddy's 22 pistol or something like that, and you just want to skip the 22 portion of it, and if you want to graduate right up to a bigger one, maybe pick up something like a 9mm like this FN. This is actually my carry pistol. This is an FN 9SC. Very, very good 9mm. It shoots well. It's accurate. It just has considerably more recoil and there's considerably more power. But the next thing I would pick up for you, or I would suggest for you to pick up, is a pistol of some sort to start refining your handgun skills. And finally, the last item I think you should probably put into your collection as a new gun owner is some kind of a high-powered rifle. Now, you have a couple of options here. Option number one would be something like maybe this. This is a Marlin bolt-action rifle. It's chambered in 7mm 08. I've talked about this in my previous videos. This is my go-to deer hunting rifle. It's accurate. It's more than adequate for taking game up to maybe mule deer. And if you're really good and you get fairly close and you can put the shot in, you could probably even put down elk with this gun. It's a little light in my opinion as far as caliber is concerned. But perhaps a bolt-action rifle would be really good. Otherwise, if a bolt-action rifle is not your thing, you can always get a lever gun, or you can jump right into the muck, and you can go right into an AR-15. This particular AR-15 is in a 5.56 caliber. Very effective for most hunting situations, up to maybe coyotes and even white-tailed deer. If you're good at shooting, if you're a good shot and you're proficient at it, you could load this rifle with like a 65 or a 70 grain soft point, and it will effectively kill deer as long as you put the shot in the right spot. I personally am not a fan of the 5.56 as a deer hunting caliber. I know guys that have hunted with deer or 5.56. I like to call them trackers because they're not very good shots, and we end up tracking the deer all the way across the country just before we pick it up. It's not ethical to the animal, it's not fair to the hunter, and it's not fair to the hunter's buddies who are out there trying to track down this wounded animal. But you can get an AR in more suitable calibers. If you're intent on doing things like deer hunting, you can get this rifle in perhaps a 6.5 Grendel or a 300 Blackout, or even go up into an AR-10, which is an AR-15 just on a larger scale. Get it in a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor, and you have a very effective deer hunting rifle. So my final suggestion for your collection would be to pick up some sort of a high-powered rifle. If you're not into ARs, you really can't go wrong with a good bolt-action rifle, and you can pick up bolt-action rifles extremely affordable. Ruger Americans the Ruger Americans is a great rifle. I'm a very big proponent of Ruger American guns. They're very reasonable. They're right around that $400 to $500 range. Sometimes you can find them with a deal where they've already got a scope mounted to them. You really can't go wrong with a good bolt action rifle. And as far as a hunting situation is concerned, these are very, very effective in that respect. They're not great for home defense or anything like that because they're slow rates of fire. They're hard to handle. They're relatively long. They're fairly heavy. If you're looking at a home defense rifle, I would definitely point you towards an AR-15. One final firearm that we're going to talk about, and this is kind of your bonus firearm, is perhaps a tactical shotgun. Now, this is a Black Aces. It is a pump action. It's got it's a magazine fed. It takes the Sega mags. If you want to buy a shotgun that is strictly designed and revolves around home defense, and that's all it's going to be used for, I would pick up a tactical shotgun. And what makes a tactical shotgun tactical? It's not because it's black. It's not because it looks scary and ominous. It's typically because they have a shorter barrel on them, and there's a very good reason for having a shorter barrel. Now, this shotgun happens to have an 18.25-inch barrel, which is 1/4 of an inch longer than what the ATF requires to not call it a short-barreled shotgun. And the reason that tactical shotguns typically come with like an 18-inch barrel is they're much easier to handle in an indoor situation. It's much easier to go around corners with these things. They're much faster handling, and quite honestly, if you are in a home defense situation, your ranges aren't going to be much more than 70 or 80 feet, and that's actually a considerably long range. This shotgun would do just fine in a home defense situation, and the shorter barrel is going to make it much, much, much easier to handle in an indoor situation. You're not going to be poking the barrel through doors and flagging your perpetrator who's in your house to do you harm that you're coming around the corner. You can be more tactical with it, for lack of a better term. Oftentimes these shotguns come with Picatinny rails. There's a myriad of attachments that you can put on these, specifically flashlights being probably one of the most important things that you could have on a home protection shotgun. But the biggest thing is to get the ones with the shorter barrel. And again, get a pump action shotgun. Do not get a semi-automatic. Unless you are very confident in your ability to clean and maintain a semi-automatic shotgun, I would definitely get a pump because they always work. And again, if you have somebody who's broken into your house and they're within an earshot and they hear you rack the slide on one of these shotguns, they are going to run for the hills. They know exactly what that sound is, and you might be able to just avoid a confrontation altogether just by them knowing that you're armed. And you're armed with a firearm that is definitely going to do a wide variety of damage, and they're probably not going to survive that encounter. So a lot of times, just racking the slide on a shotgun is a deterrent to getting them out of your house without a confrontation. You call 911, and that's the end of the story. So at any rate, ultimately, if you can avoid a confrontation, that's the best way to do it. Lastly, before I wrap this thing up and park it in the garage, if you're a new gun owner and you've never owned a firearm before, and this is your first time buying and looking into owning a firearm, and let's just say for the sake of argument, you don't have any friends that can teach you how to safely, properly handle, load, and use a firearm, do two things for me. One, read the owner's manuals of your firearms as you buy them. I know they're boring. I know they're not exactly riveting material. And if I may quote Robin Williams, they're the kind of thing they give to insomniacs that don't respond to strong drugs. They're horribly boring, but they are a wealth of information, and nobody knows more about the firearm that you've purchased than the manufacturer. So please, please, please read your owner's manual. Second, find a certified firearms instructor to teach you how to safely and properly handle a gun. There are ranges and facilities all across the country that have NRA certified firearms instructors that can teach you how to properly and safely handle a firearm, so we don't end up reading about you in the paper. That's the last thing anybody wants. You need to be safe, you need to be a proficient, you need to be efficient, and you need to know how to properly use your gun. And a lot of times it just requires somebody to teach you. You can only learn so much off a YouTube University. I mean, it's a great asset and it's a great thing out there, but there is nothing that can substitute face-to-face one-on training with a certified instructor. So do me that little favor. If you're a new gun owner, please take those steps to make sure that you're safe. So there you have it, the 4 types of guns that I would recommend any new gun owner buy, with a bonus gun at the end. So this is just my opinion, and opinions are like butt cracks. Everybody's got one, and they all smell. So just take it for what it's worth. It is my opinion. This is my personal opinion after 51 years of living on this earth and trying a whole bunch of different firearms. This is what my personal preferences are, and when I recommend to anybody who's just getting started in the shooting sports or just getting started into gun ownership, this is typically the list of guns that I give them in that specific order to get them started on the pathway to responsible, safe, and healthy gun ownership. If you like this kind of content and if you like what you're seeing on this channel, you'd be doing me a huge favor by hitting that like and subscribe button, ringing that notification bell so you get notified of any upcoming videos. And in turn, hit me with some comments. I love comments and I love responding to comments. Just keep them coming, keep the comments coming, and please keep them clean and respectful. That's all I ask. With that, this is Ed from Jack of All Trades. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and we will see you on the next video.